your MC tonight. It's my first time MCing, so be kind to me, okay? All right, thank you. So good to see you all here tonight. Thank you for coming. Most of you here are either our current or past clients or people who refer people to us. Thank you for the opportunity that you've given us to serve, to give back to our worthy causes. Two of the worthy causes that are dear and near to our hearts is the Dam Youth Drop-In Center, is a local youth drop-in center that does wonderful work in the community. If you need to know more about the dam, talk to this gentleman, Stuart. There you go. He's the operation manager at the dam. Also, Melinda from Compass Food Bank, that's the other worthy cause that we're supporting. She wanted to be here, but unfortunately something came up. She can't join us. But thank you for your business and your support and enabling us to be able to do the things that we do. I can't believe the year is almost over. In almost 1 month, in exactly 1 month, because it's going to be 2023. And what a year it was. Year of changes, year of unprecedented events. After COVID got under control, then we got hit with the aftermath of COVID. Rising prices of gas, of food shortages, car shortages, raising inflation, and then raising interest rates to combat that. So a lot of changes and obviously real estate was an exemption. So we thought, because everywhere Brian and I went, family and friends, and even total strangers, as soon as they found out we're realtors, the first question they asked was, how is the market? Where are the prices going? So we thought, okay, as an added bonus to our celebration tonight, we're going to ask two of the top industry leaders to come and lay it all out for us. Gary Fuchs, he is the CEO. Raise your hand, there you go. Gary Fuchs, he's the CEO of the 812 Mortgage Corporation. They are, first of all, Canada's leading award-winning mortgage company, and also they bring a lot of innovation and technology into the industry, and they also offer very unique and exclusive products that Gary is going to touch on some of them tonight. And Steve Tabrizi, right there, broker owner and also the COO of RE/MAX Hallmark Group of Companies. 2 years ago, Brian and I decided to join Steve's brokerage because of their reputation and the reach they have in the market. Under Steve's leadership in the past few years, the RE/MAX Hallmark has become the #1 real estate brokerage within the RE/MAX network of companies in the world. So there's something that they're doing right. They have over 40 offices in Ontario, all the way from Ottawa, now is to London, and over 1,800 exceptional real estate agents working for them. He's in the business himself for about 30 years. He doesn't look that old, but he's in the business for 30 years, and he's seen it all the ups and downs of the market. So we thought, who else better than our friend Steve to come here and tell our people a little bit about what he feels the market is right now and where it's going in 2023. So without further ado, Mr. Steve Tabrizi, please come on.
My presentation is not going to be, I'm going to tell you in advance, I'm a very straightforward shooter. My presentation is not about the promotion of the real estate is the best. I've been known in the industry, I tell you how it is. If it's good, I tell you it's good. If it's bad, I tell you it's bad. You're more than welcome to ask me any question after my presentation. We do about 29,000 transactions a year, which is every 18 minutes we make a homeowner happy or we make a home buyer happy. We did last year $19.4 billion of the volume. So we are a very strong pillar of the industry and the force of the economy. Talk about what are you going to expect in 2023? So I have to take you back for the last perhaps 2.5 years after what happened pre-COVID. So you totally understand why we end up having a madness market, which we didn't like it. And frankly, we love the market that we are right now. So for people that they thought some realtor, they really love the market that was crazy and madness, but we don't, the professional, they don't love that market because it's a very emotional market. It's not a very realistic market. there was 3 waves happening in our industry. If you remember March 23rd, 2020, we all woke up and Mr. Ford announced that basically go home, shut down the businesses, COVID is here, we're going to the stage of the lockdown. I remember my main business partner, who basically is one of the founder of this company, after 40 years, we sat around the table in the boardroom, we said, that's it. After 40 years, this is the way I go out of the business. And we look at each other, we said, okay, because frankly, everybody at that day thought what's going to happen. Businesses, they were completely shut down. The economy came basically to the halt. So I just told you we do every 18 minutes a transaction. So our speedometer, if he was doing 100 transaction basically every 2 hours, it suddenly went back to 0. Like the next day, we didn't see the phone is ringing, the deposit was not coming, the transaction was not coming. Everything continued till mid-April. What happened during that time was the government, if you recall, some people, they really blame Justin Trudeau. At the beginning, they said, okay, they came up initially with a 25% salary subsidies for employers. And then as soon as England and Denmark was the first country that they announced about the 75% subsidies, Canada followed suit. And that was the best move that the Justin Trudeau did for the economy. So economy is built based on employment. If you have your job, then you can put the food on the table, period. Simple as that. And then they call it quantitative ease. So massive printing the money. And everybody now says, oh my God, money spending was crazy. Now who's going to pay for all the debt that the Canada created? So at that time, all the Western society, they have one decision to make. Either allow the economy collapse, like 2008, what happened in the US, or save it by printing money. And they decided to save the economy by printing money. That was the first wave. In April, I recall my CFO called me to his office. He said, what happened to the market? I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm noticing people are buying real estate. And we were actually shocked. We said, people are buying real estate, they're working from home. What's happening? So disposable income started building up. You were not allowed to travel. You didn't have the expenses of the going back and forth to work. You were not shopping anything. So, and particularly the interest rate was the number one caveat for younger generation. Younger generation, that basically millennial mostly, I use this phrase all the time in my speech. They hated the baby boomer. There are some baby boomer in this room right now. Most of you are the millennial, younger generation. I'm the baby boomer. So the lady to the left is laughing about it. So yes, you are the millennial, and the guy to your right is a baby boomer. So millennial, they hated the baby boomer because they were blaming us for the real estate high prices. The interest rate was their own once lifetime opportunity. So imagine this, interest rate went as low as a 5 years mortgage rate to 1.2. Variable rate, they were 9.99. Crazy rate. So if you want to put a perspective of what is that means, $1 million mortgage, we paid to the bank $10,000 interest. They basically gave us the money for free. So what happened? Massive madness of the people. Let's buy. And this notion of, okay, I can work from home, and the suburb really start to flourish. So where home is where the work it is, that was the new concept. You know what? I don't have to go to work. I have my laptop. I work from home. I work with my pajama. I would just wake up and I just do the work, and I don't have to worry about anything. And that was the new reality at that time. And then the third wave is the inflation, which is start to creeping up since last October of the 2021. Up to 4%, 4.5%, nobody paid attention to it. And then it just started ramping up and going up. And that's where we are right now in that madness. Here we go. So 3 things happened during the market change. Demographic shift. Millennial, they become the number 1 buyers in the market. They are the massive force of our market. Canadian millennial, they basically are buying. The millennial who are there, their maximum age right now is about 38 to 39. They're at the cusp of the creation of the family. They all had maybe a condo downtown. They maybe had a small house. Now they want to double car garage, they want a fence. And suddenly also they come to this realization, okay, I moved to the suburb. It's not a bad thing because I can work from my home. And that was a demographic shift. Baby boomer also, they suddenly realized during the 2021 CIBC came with the report, they call it parents financing. One of them is me and my wife. So we finance the children to buy the properties. And in 2021, $91 billion parents, they contributed towards the purchase of the home for their children. Average was $180,000. And if you think about it, somebody owned a bungalow, a baby boomer, they were so happy, it's a mortgage free, it's worth $1 million. They said, okay, I'm now 70 years old, $1 million is good till for the next 20 years of my life, and whatever left of it, I'll just pass it to my children. Suddenly the same bungalow came to $1.4 million, $1.5 million, and everybody was happy. Okay, that's okay, I'll give $200,000 of it to my children because I still surplus my budget that I budgeted for $1 million. Then the next thing, the buying power. The buying power was due to the interest rate. Everybody was able to buy properties. I'm sure Gary's firm, they approved so many buyers because it was like this. And the government went to all the 5 major banks, told them initially, Justin Trudeau told them, do not stop lending. Lend businesses, lend people, let the economy cycle move up. And they actually, CMHC, end up buying, Canada Mortgage Housing Corporation, end up buying some of the mortgage buyback from the banks to insure them so the banks, they had a more capability of the lending. So what we created something that we are suffering, the mismatch of the supply and demand. We basically created massive demand. We had a massive demand in 2019. Now we basically added fuel to it. Now we had a massive demand and we don't have enough supply. So what does it cause? It causes all the prices goes up. So do you see the shift of the demographic? If you take a look at the red and perhaps even between red and blue and yellow, you see the massive market of the millennial and the shift of the demographic, what's happening. In Ontario, 41% of our market belongs to this younger generation. 41%, that's where the people are buying. Baby boomer, beside the lending, also their children, they said, it's time for me to go. They were selling, and most of them, they are moving to either East Coast or they are going to smaller community. London, Ontario is one of them. Simcoe County is one of them. So if you take a look at this chart, that you can see about, this is the chart about, in simple language, how much money you have in your pocket. So if you pay attention to the basically disposable income, the dark red or burgundy one, you can see from the early 2020, it's just a spike. It went crazy. It went up. And then the trend was supposed to be a straight line. And the disposable income, excluding also the COVID support, went up. So people had more money in their bank accounts, more cash to spend than ever. And the only item that they spent it was buying a home or renovating a home. Why the swimming pool became the biggest trend during the COVID? People couldn't go to the gym. You have to book for installing a swimming pool in your backyard is 2 years waiting. 2 years. It was never heard such a thing in Ontario that you had to wait for a contractor to put a swimming pool. Online shopping for any kind of the home furniture for a backyard went through the roof because everybody was just trying to basically be in that 4 walls and 4 fences to enjoy their life over there. So, result, in the 2021, Ontario was the leading province. The prices in 1 year, average in prices, we're not talking about city, we're talking about the whole province, which is basically the half of the population of the Canada. 15.4 million people lives in Ontario out of the 37 million. This is the hub and the economy of the Canada. Province of the Ontario, if it's the province of Ontario collapse, Canadian economy collapse. So you got 26% average of the prices went up in Ontario. Some cities in 2021, such as London, had 57% increase of the price. Simcoe County had a price of increase of the 41%. We moved to Simcoe County. We expanded our company to Simcoe County in April of 2019. I remember when we moved there, asking the agent, so what's the average price of a townhouse? I always pick on a townhouse because to me it's a sort of an entry level, even better than a condo, $400,000. In February of the 2022, a townhouse in Simcoe County was $900,000. Wow. It's almost double. It's all flake. It's all fraud. There's nothing really realistic about those prices. So where Ontarians are moving, 64% of the Canadian are willing to relocate to find an affordable home. That's the fact as of today. They are fed up with not being able to afford a home. Canadian, historically, they love the sense of the home ownership, the pride of the home ownership. 70% of the Canadian are homeowner, 30% of renter. Because of the policies that did exist in this country for years, particularly from the era of the Jean Chrétien, with the 5%, with the CMHC and all the privileges that they give it. In Europe, it's completely reversed. 40% are homeowners, 6% are the rental. So we are actually entering in that era in Canada right now. It's going to shift. The home ownership is becoming really difficult in Canada. So 50% agree that they will take a farthest they go is 100 kilometers, and 38% move to another city. Why they move to another city? As long as they find a good employment, they're willing to relocate. And it was very interesting that for the first time, millennial, they love downtown Toronto. They love the King Street West. They love those condos. They love the buzz. They said, you know what? Hell to it. This is not a life that I want because I got to work my life just to pay the mortgage. So I rather go to the cities that is actually close up to the GTA. Ottawa and London and Simcoe County, because those are three major hubs. Hamilton is the same thing. So where do we go from here? If we can change the slide. So we did a study. We want to see what we are saying. Is it true or not? So look at the first time the buyer's graph, which is the red one. So the red one went up, and then by end of the 2021, it's really coming down because as soon as the rate start going up, the affordability drop. But pay attention to the multi-property owners, which is the orange one. The multi-property owner is a new phenomena in Ontario. Investment in real estate is going through the roof. Rental market is up. Canada immigration bringing a lot of people here. They need housing. So the people who enter to the real estate game before and they see the benefit, they are saying, okay, let's go to it. The people who are not in it, they're just trying to get in there. And that's what you see the number one segment right up to grow of what type of the buyers you will see in the market. There is a notion in the industry, foreigners, foreign buyers, they bought all these properties. That's their problem. That's the problem that they cause. We got to stop the foreigners. And the government has come up with a lot of policies, 25% foreign tax. They can buy as of January of the 2023. 2.5% of our market is a foreign buyers. So what's the definition of the foreigners? The foreigners is a person that does not have no status in Canada. The mixed understanding of the foreigner versus non-residents, that's a Canadian government mistake. Who is a non-resident? A Canadian who lives in Hong Kong, who lives in India, who lives in Iran, who lives somewhere, but they have a Canadian status. Those are the ones that they are buying a lot of investment properties. But they are Canadian. Those are Canadian. The government has never been able to distinguish that. And that's why the media constantly fill this bad publicity, foreigners. No, they are not. They are Canadian, but they see the momentum of the investing in real estate. Mortgage segment. So this is the real proof. Who is applying more? Investors applying for mortgages after mortgages. They actually love it. They don't care the rate is 4 or 5%. They're taking advantage of the buying the property because you will have this uncertainty of the market for perhaps it started, I would say, March of this year, April of this year. It will continue till next fall and is the best moment to invest in the real estate because the prices have dropped anywhere between about $180,000 to $300,000, and those people are taking advantage of it. Next slide, please. So the share of the buyers by cities. The dark blue is a new construction, and the light blue is the total. And this is, you will see where the investors are investing money. If you take a look at, do I see Mississauga on this list? I don't. I see Toronto, and you can see in the Toronto, you will see more investor versus the regular purchase buyers. And you can see also most of the people outside of the GTA are investing more because it's more affordable, better prices, and if they have $1 million to invest, they rather to invest outside of the city of the Toronto. Next slide, please. So increase by home prices from 2010 to 2022. This is a very interesting graph by Stats Canada. So in Toronto, you can see, in Canada, you can see we had 105% increase of the prices in 10 years. Double. If you bought a property in 2010, probably you bought it for about $600,000-$700,000. Right now it's sitting at about a $1.2 million price. So it doubles. We never had such a phenomenon in 10 years. We have a 10 or 11% increase. Average price growth in Canada in the last probably 50 years, we've been average anywhere between 5 to 7%. But the 105% is accumulative. So some years we had a massive increase, some years we had a minor increase.
I said, let's go to Italy.
Let's go
Minus
to Italy.
22.
So inflation, what happened? So February of the 2021, the conflict in Ukraine started. So the conflict in Ukraine is a sad story that is happening. Many people are losing their life. Innocent people are losing their life. But the increase of the gas prices is good for Canada. Alberta, since 2015, all the way to 2021, has suffered from a drop of the real estate prices because massive unemployment. 27% of the commercial properties in downtown Calgary are vacant. The companies, they disappeared from Calgary. Why? Because of the mismanagement of the Alberta's government. All the headquarters of those oil companies, refinery companies, tech companies, they received massive incentive from the US, Texas, South Carolina, and they moved all their hubs and everything over there. And they are not coming back. The only thing now it's causing people are coming back to Alberta is the oil. So the price of the oil suddenly from about $37 went all the way to about $110. As of yesterday was anywhere between about $85 to $90. Canadian oil is the most costly oil for refinery in the world. It costs us about $36 to actually refine the oil and then sell it. And I'm sure you heard about the issue of the pipeline. So we have to truck or train the oil, take it to the tanker to sea. We don't have a pipeline. It's costing us a lot of money to get it to the shore, and then we ship it overseas. It's a long story that the government hasn't been able to manage to do that pipeline, and until the day that we don't do that pipeline, we are at the mercy of the fluctuation of the market. So, but when you can see the cost of the living suddenly due to the conflict in Ukraine, plus also the supply chain. I'm sure you heard in the last few days about the protests in China. People are saying the zero tolerance of the COVID. There is a underlying story. It is that the COVID doesn't exist anymore over there, but the government purposely is doing this because they want to control the price of the supply. Everything went up, from the cost of the car, from the inventory of the product, and all those costs are passed to the consumers. And the gas prices went all the way to about $2, and now it's back to about $1.60, and that's why it caused the inflation. And inflation gradually went up, and it went up to almost reaching at 8.1% up to about 2 months ago in Canada. So 30% of the inflation related to a shelter. That's a big portion of the inflation. So one, I think you gotta lower something. That. Yeah, I can talk without even. No, I can increase the volume. Is it better? Yes. Now it's better. There's no echo. Okay, that's good. So take a look at.
Is it my mic?
Okay. Better. Yes.
It was my mic. Okay, sorry.
You're always that way he didn't rush. Okay. So 16% food and 16% is transportation. So you almost got over 60% of what the average Canadian does every day related to the inflation. So low interest rate, everybody's buying. So we went crazy in terms of the buy. So it could not continue because the market would crash. The Bank of Canada, everybody thinks he's crazy. Everybody thinks, oh my God, why he's coming and increasing the rate? He has no other tool in his toolbox. He has only one tool in his toolbox. Increase the interest rate, discourage all of you to buy nothing. His basically speech is this. Last speech he gave, he said, Canadian economy is robust, we have a lot of employment, every investment is good in Canada, but I'm going to increase it by 0.75. He's basically telling you, don't shop. This year alone, American Express came with a report. They had the best year of the company in 50 years. The travel industry this year is the only time of the year that they were solid booked till October. Europe, you could see on social media, every Canadian was in Europe because they had to travel because it was cheap. They book it either in advance or they had disposable back to those first slide. A lot of saving in their bank account and they wanted to spend. Next slide, please. So Canada inflation rate, that's the good news. We went all the way to 8.1, sometimes by June of the 2022, and now we are back to 6.9. Is it going to easily go? They want to bring it around 2 or 3%. I'm going to give you the bad news. Good luck. It's going to take at least about 2 years. Hopefully we bring it down to about 3 to 3.5. It's going to take time. And that's one thing that the Canadian economists and the Bank of Canada, they miscalculated. They thought, okay, we go up, and then everything will come down fast. One thing that the Canadian economy has demonstrated, now everybody talks about the recession. You hear all the news, recession. In economy terminology, 2 negative growth of the GDP for 2 quarters, they call it recession. But it's happening already. 2 quarters already happened. We didn't have a negative, we had a drop. It hasn't gone below 0. But the Canadian economy now, there's a terminology, they call it resiliency or recession. Canadian economy is really in resilience. And resilience, because our employment is really good and we have a lot of job creation that is happening in Canada and we're bringing a lot of people into Canada. Next, please. Next. Okay, so labor crunch. We started from about 13% and everybody was saying, oh my God, we got 13% of our employment. Now we are back down to 5.2. We were actually 2 months ago 5.9. The latest news, 108,000 new jobs created in 1 month. That's also surprised the Bank of Canada. The Bank of Canada was so happy. Okay, it's going to be around 6.1, 6.2. So hopefully the inflation comes down. No, we created actually one more $100,000 job in the last 2 months. And one thing that you got to pay attention, 13% unemployment, mostly, sadly, was on a part-time job and hospitality. And the hospitality sector, because of the low income, they're mostly renters, they're not the homeowners. Next slide, please. So, immigration. We got 4 tiers of the government in Canada. I'm a proud immigrant, but I have to criticize the government for this mismanagement. We got city, we got region, we got province, we got federal. So we got a federal government, just the rates of announcement, we're going to bump it up to 500,000 people. And we got provinces that they are trying. I can't keep up with these people. You're bringing these people, but I can't keep up with these people. So we got 4 levels of the government that they don't talk to each other. They have got one policy going this direction, bringing more people, and we got one policy that the supplies keep going down. The housing policy of Canada must become a national housing policy. That's the only way we're going to solve the supply issue. Meaning, irrelevant of who is in the power, federally or provincially, every province got to have a mandate of actually allocating a certain budget towards building the new homes. In Ontario also we're facing something called Greenbelt. I'm sure you've heard about it. All the Greenbelt that was created during Mike Harris and the McGuinty's government and is untouchable. now Mr. Ford is like to release some of them and allow to build them. But that's one problem. The other problem is the red tape of the getting approval, the permits and everything there. But the number one problem is, you can get the permit, let's say even a week. The number one problem is a labor shortage. That's why the federal governments keep bringing people. In Ontario, we managed the best year we ever had. We built 84,000 new homes. And guess what was the announcement with Mr. Ford? The politicians, they love to talk. They just collect votes. But the reality, I can see you're all educated, smart people here. Mr. Ford announced 150,000 homes. We've been able to maximum build 84. How the hell? We're going to double that with the same labor force that we have. It's literally impossible. CMHC came with a report, they said, oh, the Ontario government made a mistake. Because they said in Canada we need 1.5 million new homes in order to create a balance. CMHC estimated we need 3.5 million homes in Canada. So the numbers are all over the place. But the fact remains the same, 84,000 homes. Okay, we'll push it, we make 100,000 homes. You can't do anything more. So we're going to be in the trouble of the supply no matter. Next slide, please. Canada, among the G7 countries, is the worst country in terms of the housing per 1,000 people. We are sitting at the bottom of the barrel, 424. So we can't even meet the 50% quota. And France is slightly above the 50%. So these stats are all research and study. So there are real proof of the gravity of the situation that we have in Canada. Next. Okay, so these are the news that you see every day. Canada's most expensive real estate market is dropping an average of $2,200 per day. I love these news. They write you and they will see it and say, holy shit, the market is dropping. Let's sell the house. Let's not buy the house. Let's just keep all the cash. What is it, $2,200 per day? Multiplied by 365. What is it, $100,000? So I'll demonstrate to you what you actually lost in the last, let's call it 10 months. You're still on the surplus, you're not on the negative. Next, please. So mortgage payment, that was another news. Oh my God, the mortgage payment is going through the roof. But people didn't pay attention. 1,000,003 homes is now sitting at $1 million. $300,000, I'm sure Gary will can educate you better than me. $300,000 extra purchase price over the life of the 25 years amortization. Even at the interest rate of the 3%, it will cost you at the end of the life of your mortgage $500,000. You suddenly took the $300,000 out because the prices dropped. You got $1 million, but yes, your mortgage rate is now 5%. The study shows actually the payments are $50, $60 less. Yes, you're paying more interest for a short period of time, but the interest is less. So it's basically in Toronto caused about $400 more payments on a mortgage, $5,000 a year. When I used to practice real estate, studying real estate, I had this formula. I would say, do you have $10,000 extra every year saving? Yes, Steve, I have. I said, great. They said, why you're asking this question? I said, if you don't have, don't buy home. Because your furnace may break down, you may have interest rate changes, you may do some maintenance on the home, you gotta have some cushion of cash flow. You can't just be paycheck to paycheck and dollar to dollar. Next, please. So these are the latest report as of yesterday in terms of the price drop. So in Greater Toronto area, change of the price is $227,900, 18% drop in price. From the peak, which was February. Also the media love to play this. We lost 25% of the price. Compared to what? February. Yes, they are right. But what's a comparison to pre-COVID? What's a comparison to 2020? What's a comparison to 2021? You will see it's actually no drop. It's actually still as a gain. We are back roughly now to mid-prices of the 2020. That's where we are. Because we had the biggest gain in the momentum from October of the 2020 to February of the 2021. We went crazy. We just basically put the foot on the gas and said, let's go. You know, we were selling houses, it was unbelievable how much people were paying for
price of homes. Next. So this is the graph you got to pay attention. Comparable to peak. December of 2019 to peak to December of the 2023, and we did a comparison. We had a growth of 47% to the peak from pre-COVID to the February of the 2021. Now we are down by 22%. Do subtraction, 47 minus 22. Where are we? We're plus 25. As of today, we're still sitting at a plus 25 compared to 2019. So yes, people who bought in the period of mid-2021 to, mid-2020, 2021 to early 2022, they are in a tough position. Can they sell? No. They have to hold on to the property for the next probably 3 to 4 years in order to break even, or maybe they have a surplus. But anybody who bought prior to that, they're safe. They're ahead of you. So people say, oh my God, did I make a mistake? I bought. No, you didn't make a mistake. Home ownership is not about flipping the property here and there. It's a long haul. Sometimes you are in the business of the flipping. But the good news is now with the rental market that has gone through the roof, 21% in the last 8 months, going to increase the price of the rent. The one-bedroom condo in the city of Toronto rents for $2,600 to $2,800. One bedroom, 500 square feet condo. You know what's the size of the 500 square feet? It's the size of basically these 5 tables. That's exactly it. Goes from $2,600 to $2,800. Some areas up to $3,000. So if you bought even investment property, it carries its own cost, and you don't have to worry for it. Next, please. So pay attention also to this. So we just demonstrated the price growth minus the drop versus the positive. But people, they said, okay, why the activity has dropped? By the way, activity. Toronto Real Estate Board had 2 historical years. 2016, under 3,000 transactions. 2021, 122,000 transactions. Historically, it's always been between 75 to 85,000 transactions. Right now, as we trail, we should probably land by the end of this year about 80,000 transactions. So people are asking, okay, activity dropped, but I don't see, Steve, a major drop in the prices. Yeah, you saw 17%. It's not a major drop because take a look at the new listing. In Toronto, year to year, we have a minus 11% listing. We don't have listing. We do not have supply. And you go out there, it's not like, okay, you can see 30 houses. And it says, okay, I don't like this, I'll pick this. We don't. Why? Canadian homeowners are in a good position financially. They're not selling. They're holding. So we have 2 types of people in our industry, buyers and sellers. Buyers, it took us almost 6 months. Probably Roxana and Brian, they worked very hard to accept the fact of the new rate. Now we got our buyer, we have to accept, okay, this is the new reality for most people. Sellers are still in a lot of land. No, Roxana, I want the price of the February of 2021. Good luck. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. If you are a motivated seller, you sell at today's price. There is an old saying is, you buy low, you sell high, you buy high. There is no smart person here that suddenly grabs something that is out of the ordinary. You know, the information on the internet and the education out there is so much that the sellers and buyers are really acting this one. Next, please. So, 3 years unemployment. We talk about 5.9%. Is it high? Absolutely not. Before COVID, we were around the same poverty. This is a fundamental of our economy. The day you see this number goes to 7 or 8%, those are the days that the true recession starts. Really in a very good position right now in unemployment. You know, yes, technology sector because they had a really big boom during the era of the COVID because everybody went home. The technology companies, they hired a lot of people. You know, they have massive layoff. And now look at yourself, you're now back to getting together, gathering and everything. So the technology is slowly losing its momentum. But we are now in a new era called hybrid. People love to work 2 days from home, 3 days from work. And that's going to stay with us forever. So technology. maybe massive malls that we see around, they will shrink, they will have the stores, but they will have logistic and e-commerce ship everything to the US. So people, human nature is that they have to interact. So as long as they have to interact, the economy is booming and everything will go somewhere. This is the latest survey by Bank of Canada. They said, okay, are you worried about the interest rate? What's the negative impact? 13% strongly disagree. Only 7.5% disagree. 23% are neutral. 20% they agree, and 35% also strongly agree. So if we add these two, and then add the other three, you will see it's a 50-50. That's what we want. We don't see a survey that shows that 70% of the Canadians are panicking and just say, oh my God, you know, the sky's falling. Next. So this is a good one. So how many people want to do a purchase? 4 to 6 months, 7 to 12 months, 1 to 3 months, and a year longer. Worst case scenario, a year longer. Everybody's in their mind within a year, I want to do something in real estate, I want to buy something in real estate. So these are the real data survey by Stats Canada. Next, please. So investor segment. Investor segments are not moving away. Investors are the one that you probably expect, oh, if the market changes, they'll sit back, they watch, and then they jump in when it's ready. We only have in Toronto, we have basically 2%, negative 2%. And they say, oh, I'll sit tight, I won't do anything. 2% is not. So, yeah, follow the investor group. Because if the investor group is investing in real estate, you should invest in real estate. Next, please. So real estate investment volumes by asset. You heard Mr. Ford just made an announcement, so you can make a lot to triple home, 3 homes, European style. And look at the rent, multifamily. Multifamily is going to be the future next gig of the investment. Well, a lot of people, if they don't have investment, they start with a condo. It's easy to maintain, it's easy to manage, but now the multifamily is becoming big here in Canada. Because the rental market, as I said, 70% home ownership, 30% rental, and the tide is changing. So we're going to have, sadly, about 10 years ago I said this, and it was probably one of my first economic talk, and I got a lot of backlash for this. My speech was this: I'm sorry, 10 years from now, Toronto is not going to be the place for everyone. And I got text messages, who the hell are you talking about? New York is not for everyone. Everybody loves to be on a 5th and Broadway, but can you afford a 700 square feet condo for $3 million? No. So we have to accept this reality. Toronto is not going to be for everyone. The people who jump into the market earlier and faster, they will benefit in the long run. So the Toronto used to be the Toronto core and maybe center of the Toronto. Now really the GTA is the hub. Anywhere in the GTA that you can invest. Next.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So why is that the land investment went up so much from 2020 to 2021 and sustained it?
Very good question. So builders for the land investment, they literally, between the 2020 and 2021, we have 2 types of land investors. Because the old crew, companies like a tribe, you're not emotional. They have already invested in the land banking for probably next 30 years. But between the 2020 to 2021, we had a lot of newcomers, investors, mainly from China. They are buying land in Canada at a rapid pace. They are not a professional builder yet.
This includes institutional investors as well.
Sorry?
This includes institutional investors.
Absolutely. Yes, those institutional investors, syndication, that's what's happening. Yeah. So those people, because they don't know the Canadian environment, they bought in, grabbed some properties, now they're sitting back and holding. But the regular guys, Menkeys, Mintos, Trial, Liberty, all these big developers that they've been building their business from GTA, they're continuously going and they're not emotional. Talking to the developer, they were quite frustrated. The price of the land should be $80 buildable per square foot. I can't compete, Steve, with the new group because they're just paying massively for So that's why you see a little bit of drop. That's one factor. The other factor is, so these people are now watching the market. They're saying, should I buy more or should I bet? So the trend downwards is natural. So the same way that we had 18% drop in the residential home prices, we will have also descending prices in these sectors. Sold to listing ratio. So in our industry, if you are having inventory of the anywhere between 2 to 4 months is a seller market. If you have an inventory of the 4 to 6 months, 4 to 7 months, is basically balanced market, and anything over 7 months is basically you are in a buyer's market. And then sold to listing ratio right now is sitting at about 59%. We're in a balanced market. We are not still in a buyer's market. Sadly, for buyers that are out there, we're not. We're still in a sort of a very borderline of the sellers and balanced market because we don't have inventory. We have more inventory compared to 2021, but we don't have massive inventory. As of today, we have 2.5 months of the inventory. And as of tomorrow morning, no listing comes to MLS, and we start selling every single listing, 2.5 months, the whole city, the whole MLS system is wiped out. There's nothing left. Next. So this is also, it's called core housing needs rates as the highest in Canada, primarily downtown. So if you take a look at it, downtown is the biggest prime demand. 84% of people, they are basically saying unaffordable housing, renovation, inadequate housing, and unsuitable housing. That's why you see right now a lot of people are buying properties together. 2 families are buying maybe a home together. You will see also maybe 2 younger generation buying and co-habiting together, co-living together. So these are all the fundamental issue of the unaffordability in Ontario and in Canada overall. Next, please. So average height versus average GFA. Look what the city has done. So back to your question, if you pay attention, in 2018, the same 33-story building had a GFA of 400,000 square feet. This is what approved of 33-story. Sorry? GFA is that gross floor area. So gross floor area is basically when the builder says, okay, you got a parcel of land, I'll give you 400,000 square feet. Average condo is about 600, so I built about 500 units in that building. Now, from 2018 to 2022, same building, only 3-story one. But look at the ratio of the GFA, from 400,000 to almost 600,000. The city is just issuing a permit for taller towers because they want more people to go to these. But one thing the city has failed to do is not the city's fault. Transportation, amenities, schools, park, highway. We were coming from a Christmas party on Saturday at 11 p.m. 401 was gridlock. At 11 p.m., I couldn't believe it. You literally cannot get away these days in less than 45 minutes to 1 hour on 401. You gotta be in 401, at least for 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers, you're in it easy for 40 minutes. But the trend in the future is going to be this: higher tower, more densities. And that's why the price of those lands are gone crazy. When you ask the developer why they're asking $1,500 per square foot, the profit margin is not $500 per square foot. The profit margin right now is sitting at about $125 to $130. 1/3 of their cost is going to the city. City of Toronto, for a 700 square feet condo, the developer got to pay $79,000 for the development charges. $79,000. But the city always says, I'm in there. Mismatch. Next. So this is the latest as of end of October. If you want to know the glance of the GTA, so average price of the detached is only down by 11%, semi-detached is by 6%, freehold townhouse by 6%, and a condo price is actually up by 2%. So we have a very natural cycle in our business. Condo is a forced point of entry. When the condo becomes expensive, when the margin between the condo and a freehold, which is semi-townhouse and detached, become really wide, becomes very short, people buy houses. The margin became wide. Now they are buying a condo because between condo and a semi-detached is almost $400,000. But now something new phenomenon is happening. The rent is going so badly up. People say, why am I renting? Let me go buy something in Mississauga, buy something in Milton, buy something in Whitby, because I can buy. These are the sort of the Toronto main core, main hub cities, but in Ottawa, these are not the prices. Next, please. So, 4 trends. So, across Canada summary. So, tourism rebounded, capital investment is going to be really good. Agriculture and energy market is going to be really good. Alberta is going to have a $13 billion fiscal surplus. Good for Ontario, because you know we take a share of that gas and resources. I don't know how many bills we get, but we'll get a good chunk of it because we are the biggest one. Hospitality is really doing well. Ontario manufacturing, Mr. Ford did 2 amazing jobs in terms of Ontario manufacturing, are the battery plant in Windsor, Ontario. So finally, we are getting out of the sum of the auto industry by just creating something that is good for every car, creating battery. Ontario, for the substance of the creating the battery, is the 2nd place in the world after China. So we got all the ingredient to build the battery, and hopefully they take advantage of that and keep these plants are going. 2 large plants, over $600 million investment are going into Windsor. Ford here in Oakville is converting, and also the old GM that is now shut down is converting to a battery. Next. So 4 trends that you gotta watch. Interest rate. Interest rate, he has left quarter point, or 1 more push, and then he won't do anything, my opinion, because don't also think, oh my God, we're going to go back to 1.2, 1.8. No, that was a one-time offer. We got lucky, we don't have it anymore. Interest rate from the 5.5, let's say average 6 right now, will go anywhere between 3 to 4. So your fixed rate will be 4, your floating rate will be 3.5. So we are actually going back 2%. We're not going back down 4%. That's the new reality. So don't think about, well, wait till the rate goes back to 1.2. It's never going to happen. Inflation, watch it. They don't have no other measure or tools to really combat it. It's just basically going to take its course. So investment sector, competitive with the deeper pocket, housing policy with suburb. Suburb is going to refurbish again because it's cheap. People are going to come to the suburb. Mississauga, Oakville, Milton, East, Windsor, London, all those big hubs, they're going to really do good. Next slide. So, defining the future of the housing, sustainability, employment, and immigration, supply, and economy. That's basically the future that is basically going to happen. Is this the way we are going to sustain it? What's going to happen 5 years from now? Will the game hit the peak? There's something going to happen. The government jump in, create some policy, the market comes down for about 14, 15 months. We did the same thing before Kathleen Wynne goes out of the office. If you recall, April of 2017, she was desperate. She came with the housing gap. What happened? Really. So we really, in order for us to make sure that we have a good future, we need supply. Employment is good. The employment is direct correlation with immigration. As long as the immigration door is open, the employment will be good. Supply and economy. So how we come to resolve the supply issue is a big puzzle that nobody has an answer for it. It really requires a full government level, we have a one mandate, one policy. So if you recall the election recently, I was a part of the Liberal Party basically listening to the candidate who lost so badly. Now he became the mayor of the Vaughan, and he was an ex-minister of transportation during Kathleen. He was actually really honest. He said the term's 4 years. We like to do a lot of research and study. We hire a lot of consulting companies, do some research for us. It takes about a year and a half. They come with the same report that every time they come. Yeah, we need supply. And then by the time we get the budget, it's another year, it's 2.5 years. And now we are in the 2.5 years before the 4 years there. Now we go for election. So nothing gets hit. Nothing gets shoveled on the ground. That's where we are in this mess. We really didn't pay attention to the growth of